So we discussed Egypt. We discussed that the Pharaoh of the time of Moses was thought to be an Assyrian. We were we discussed that he also um, he didn't die in the Red Sea, but he became Pharaoh. I'm sorry, king in Nineveh, which is in Assyria, the capital of Assyria. Okay, many believe that he was the king during the time of the prophet Jonah, which means he would have probably lived quite some time, which is possible. People, according to the Bible, these days are supposed to live 80 years, but there are people like my great great grandfather who was 106 years old. There's people who live, past the 120-year mark, even though during the time of Moses, people were supposed to only live to 120 years. So it could be very possible that he was that same king, but it's not. It's possible, but it's not probable, as my mother would say. However, he did become king in Nineveh, almost reminding me of a past president of Japan who was a Japanese man. Now, if the prophecy had said the Japanese man rather than the Assyrian, no one would have looked to Peru. They would have looked to Japan or perhaps America because they know that lots of people travel and migrate here. But see, people are so narrow minded. They would have most likely not looked to Peru. But he was a Japanese man, but yet he was a full 100% Japanese. But he was a president of Peru. I was watching, I think it was Alejandro Fernandez. I forget the name of the singer, but he's Mexican. He has a very baritone voice. I loved his voice. Used to listen to him a lot in high school, and he was doing a concert in the Dominican Republic when a friend of mine from there said to me, "Oh, you didn't know there's lots of Chinese people in my country?" Because I couldn't understand why there were so many people. Like the first, I want to say 10 rows, maybe it was only 4 rows, but there was like so many people, like so many chairs that there were like hundreds or thousands, it seems, of people in those rows who just from a distance, skin complexion, I didn't notice anything, but when they got close up, you could see their faces and I'm thinking these are Chinese people. She said, "There's lots of Chinese people in my country." She said, "Yeah, they all like just came there and just started taking over." See how, and I don't want to get off topic, but see how they've been planning to come against America by setting them so. Oh, we're just opening some businesses in the Dominican Republic. We're just doing a little agricultural, little farming and things in West Africa. What are you really doing, China? China, what are you really doing? Staying on topic. So people are narrow minded. People are narrow minded. Oh, he has to be from Assyria. Did I mention that Kim Kardashian is an Assyrian? I think I mentioned that already. Did I mention that the kings and queens of Europe have bloodlines that tie into back to Nimrod, the Assyrian? Did I mention that? I think I did in the last video. But the real reason I wanted to bring this up is because of 3 countries that I want to list one by one, starting with the furthest south, which is Jordan, a part of the Hashemite kingdom, which includes countries such as Saudi Arabia and Egypt, descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, it is said, which means they're also descendants of Ishmael. We know that as far as the Jordanians, they are also descendants of the Moabites and the Ammonites, with whom the Edomites dwelt. So these Palestinians, as they're called, really belonged in Jordan and in parts of Arabia. They began to move, or should I say, the Israelites began to allow them to move into the southern part of the land which belonged to Judah. And they started calling it, there were so many of them there, they began calling it Idumea, because the Edomites were living in southern Judea. And many of them went wherever they decided to go at later times and were just referred to as Judeans. Oh, I'm from Judea. I'm a Judean. Oh, if you're from Judea, you're a Jew. So they passed themselves off as Jews and they're Edomites. People hear Palestinian and they think Philistines. The Philistines come from a people known as the Kas. It's so hard for me to say Kasluhim. It's hard because it's Sthl. Kasluhim, who were Egyptians. So they need to take them little selves, if they're Philistines, and they need to go head on over to that little desert place. Is that the Sinai? That's between Egypt and Israel. Give them that. Let them dwell in the desert. Let their Arabian brothers and sisters help them do some sort of aqueducts or bring some water and get the land fertile or something. You know, Israel was never their land. People, these wicked kings of the earth, these ungodly rulers, the big bankers, the Illuminati, people like that decided to call Israel Palestine in order to disrespect God. And so these people call themselves Palestinians and say that that Israel is their land. Blasphemy, I say. It's sheer utter blasphemy. Jordan is in the pocket of America. The king of Jordan has a mother who is British. His mother is British. Look at him. And then look at the presidents of Britain. Look at the Queen of England. Look at Prince Philip. Just look at him, and look at the man who I believe is not president now, but was president. His mother is British. His stepmother, which is his brother's mother, has Syrian blood. She has British blood, and she has American blood. She comes from the National Cathedral School and is best friends with my ballet teacher. I remember visiting my ballet teacher's home, and I said, "Oh, who was that?" She says, "That's me." I said, "Oh, you were so thin." And she used to have really long hair. I was like, "Oh, look at Barb," when she was young, still dancing. And I said, "Who's the other lady?" Because she was like, there's another picture of her and a lady. She says, "Oh, that's me at the Jordan River." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Oh, you went to Jordan?" She was like, "Yeah, I went to go visit my friends." I went. I say, "Oh," I say, "Who's the lady in the picture?" "That's my best friend." And she was letting me know she had went to go visit. Or I'm trying to remember the exact because I don't remember if she first told me that she had went to Jordan to visit her friend. I don't remember if she told me that before I asked who the woman was in the picture, but that would make no sense. I remember asking her who the woman was in the picture. She says, "Oh, that's my best friend." And oh yeah, that's right. She said, "That's my best friend." I said, "Oh, okay." She was like, she told me she went to go visit her in Jordan. I said, "Oh, your friend lives in Jordan." I thought it was so interesting, like because for me, I'm like, why would American woman, why was she a wealthy woman? Why was she like, somewhat well-to-do? Why would she move to Jordan? Because I didn't know anything about the Middle East. I thought they were all like just living in the desert and kind of poor. Now I know Arab people, and I see them, and they live in the richest counties surrounding D.C. Two of the richest counties in the world, in America. I'm sorry, Fairfax and Montgomery, and you see them, and they got money. They have lots of money, I guess is the appropriate way to say that. And so I was just like, "Oh, she lives in Jordan." She's like, "Well, yeah, she's the queen. She's married to the king of Jordan." I said, "Your best friend is the queen of Jordan?" She says, "Yes." And then we went to go watch, I think, Makarova or some other ballet arena, until one of her friends came and decided, she didn't seem too happy about me being there. And then Barbara, "Okay, Joe, let's go." I've already given too much information. Hmm. I could say more. The Lord is like, "Okay, Jerome, please, all the personal stories, seriously. This is not time for you to just, it's not send you here to share personal stories." But see, it's like I have to let people know. So they're tied into the British royal family, as well as I explained before. My ballet teacher is a direct descendant of Anne of Cleves. Anne of Cleves raised Queen Elizabeth I, which I think is the grandmother of Queen Elizabeth, who is the current Queen of England. Okay, she was a German princess, so she's tied into the royal bloodlines. God does things in mysterious ways. I don't know why he would have this woman end up teaching a whole bunch of black kids ballet, and why I would be one of those kids who, she would take me around and drive me around. And I told her about my Irish ancestry. She says, "Oh, that explains a lot." She's, and I said, "What does that mean?" She was like, "Oh, it's just, well, they say that you have the gift of the gab." She didn't say much else. Other conversation I remember when she would tell me that all the races were going to blend, and you wouldn't really be able to get to a point where you wouldn't be able to actually look at a person and see what race they were. It would just be like, depending on what country they were from, or like they knew their history and stuff. But as far as looking at them, you wouldn't be able to tell. And I was just like, but how is that? She says, well, they'll just everyone's gonna just things will just be different, and people will blend. And I mean, I really don't remember much of the conversation because in my head I'm thinking to myself, this is never going to happen. And that's because in my spirit, I knew that what she was thinking was going to happen was never going to happen. But now I've realized that she's been indoctrinated. I mean, what they've been teaching them over at National Cathedral School. As I said, this could be dangerous to talk about because I still live very close. Okay. But now I understand that what she's talking about is the New World Order. She looked very disturbed. Um, she couldn't say but so much. I felt that there was a lot she wanted to say, but just really for the sake of safety could not. And a lot I just didn't understand because it was so vague. Um, I don't know what it is that she was seeing into the future, or what it is she saw in me, and if what it is she was seeing was because of a prophetic gift or probably a divination spirit. I tend to be around a lot of people like that who I'm always questioning: is it prophecy? Is it divination? Because they go from prophetess to witch. Like, and I just said, like, but it's a fine line. So it's, um, I always loved her very much. She just was, always she had that air about her. And so the Lord, like, as I've been studying, He reminds me of these things, and He brings things back to my remembrance that He taught me, and things, that I learned in Greek mythology as a kid, and how, the lie part and what's the truth part, and a lot of things the Lord really works with me in a very specific and very significant way. And so things that other people don't take into to consideration, I get frustrated, and it bothers me because I don't have anything. I didn't get good grades in school or anything. Like, people say, "Oh, you're so wise," and I'm not any of that. Any wisdom I have came from God. Like, I'm not that intelligent. The Lord gives me wisdom and allows and gives me understanding and allows me to just remember what it is I read somewhere. How hard is that to just read it and remember it? I mean, that's, I don't, how can I take credit for that? So when certain things that people don't take into consideration, it causes me to think, well, are they just stupid? Are they, like, what is wrong? And God forgive me, because see, that's why the first time I made the video, I hadn't even pressed the record. Um, you can't call people stupid, but it's hard for me to understand what's going on in their minds, because but then I remember that they don't know some of the things that I know, and so this is why I share my personal, like, stories and things like that. Okay, the king of Jordan is British. His mother is he's half British. Why bring up Jordan? I'm bringing up Jordan because I must also bring up Syria. Syria is a part of Assyria. The countries of Syria and Iraq and Jordan were all called Transjordan before they were three separate countries. And before that, it was called Assyria, just like Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan was called Persia. Don't you see how America has had his hand? He has army bases in Pakistan and has some sort of control over those people in their governments. They say we work together. Well, they're working with you because they don't feel like they have much of a choice. And then, we went into Afghanistan, and it was Russia and America competing over Afghanistan. That's because Russia and America is competing over who's going to be the head of the New World Order. That's what this is about. Don't you see? Oh, Jesus. And so now, of course, we're beefing with Iran because we want to have control over the three places that were a part of Persia. You know what we've done in Iraq. When the president of Iraq even came, about, did our president have to have a meeting and saying, this is your president, you ought to listen to him? Who is he to tell these people that they have to listen to this man? Don't you see the control we have over Iraq? The Jordanians work very close there. They say Israel is our closest ally in the Middle East. The Jordanians work very closely with the Western nations of Europe and with America as well. Okay? The lion with the wings in the book of Daniel, aren't the eagle's wings is not America, an eagle is not um Great Britain and the British Isles, a lion. Didn't we come out of Great Britain? Like the wings came out of the back of that lion? Now the thing is, I want to say it had four. I want to say that that lion had four wings. So it's like who's the other set of wings? And maybe I'm off, maybe I'm wrong. So you can look that up and let me know. I saw the guy on End Time News talking about it on TVN, and was thinking to myself, didn't it have four wings? You're not mentioning the other two wings. I'm thinking of that gospel song, "Give me two wings to fly away, and the world can't do me no harm." I might sing that for you guys, or maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, it just should be so clear what's going on here. Jordan works very closely with us. We have some sort of control over Iraq, and now all of a sudden we got to go and deal with Syria. You're trying to take over the land of Assyria, America. They're trying to take over the land of Assyria. They're trying to build a stronghold in the Middle East, in the three lands which was a part of the Assyrian Empire. If you got Iraq, which Nineveh was in Iraq and Babylon was in Iraq, so we already got control over the most important nation that was a part of Assyria. When you see the winged disc, we got the disc because Iraq is in between Syria to the north and Jordan to the south. Okay, and then if we get Iran, where the capital of the Persian Empire was, then I mean, hello, then all this, hello, and we know we this is all about getting control over the land of Assyria, whose emblem was also the eagle, just like Egypt's symbol was and is the eagle, just like the Roman Empire's symbol was and is the eagle. Symbolism, learn it. History, learn it. Pray for understanding. Open your eyes and see what is going on. Look beyond the veil. As my mother, and this is her mantra, she's going to need to get this phrase copywritten and put on bumper stickers. It's not what they tell you, it's what they don't tell you. God bless you.